64. Junhui, 64 and 3.
Well, he won't be too concerned about that. Junhui has done enough to level this match, and it could go all the way. It's down to a best of 3. It's 4 frames each. Well, it's been a strange old match. The standard dipped in the middle of it, and the points, there's nothing between them. Ball's potted a few in front for Ding. Long pot, that still favours Mark Davis. Potting success, 90% both players. 1 century, but from Ding. At the moment, difficult to split them. Of course, Ding is the seeded player, so he would have to be favourite still, but there isn't an awful lot on what we've seen this morning and early afternoon between the players.
Thank you. Frame 9. Junhui to break.
These matches best of 11 frames, so both players requiring a couple of frames to make it through.
One.
Took a gamble in playing off the side of the pack, and it seems that the pink will pot. It's going to be awkward though with the black tied up to make any. Did well there because, as you saw, there was some movement, people walking down the stairs, which would have been in his eye line. But his concentration was up to it.
7. Mark Davis, 7.
He was close to it, cue ball, object ball, and you can sometimes misjudge the angle on those if you're not careful. Seems to be what happened there. Just the way the table is with the reds all over the place. It wouldn't, you would think, be the kind of frame that would suit Ding. Black tied up. Doesn't do the scrappy frames as well as he does when the balls are open, when he's deadly. Oh, there you see, that's an example of it. He decided he wanted the black three. I think that's a good shot for him. He's got to play to his strengths, and I think that's a clever shot. Probably feels he can score more heavily than Mark Davis when he's right.
Well, this is not a straightforward safety. Got to get this just right. Oh, missed the black by an absolute fraction, didn't he? Caught it thicker than he meant, but he's left a red at distance. But he'd much rather left that red at distance and kissed into the black and left them all on. Who's going to knock this first red in and give himself the first chance to win the frame? Not even attempting the pot, knowing that if he gets a good white here, he'll put Mark Davis in all sorts of trouble. Well, a couple of these reds I think will pot down the right-hand side, but where does the colour come from? The pink's available in the middle, but he can't get on it. So somehow he's going to have to try and play a safety shot. The 1-2 away from the pink, you can hit that very thin and go around the back of the reds back into baulk. That's the one he's playing. Just trying to catch the second red of these two, very thin. A little bit thicker than he wanted, but he's still okay. It's a good shot. Well, win or lose, that was a very, very fortunate. Hit it miles too thick. Now, is there any plants on down here? There's red right over the corner, as you can see, but can he plant one red onto another? I don't think any of them are certainties. He's been very fortunate there, Neil, hasn't he, Ding?
Yeah, it was a great escape, really. As you say, called it much too thick. Now, can Mark make something of this? Some kind of a plant? Yeah, it was not as easy as it might have looked. And to hit the blue full ball was a bit unlucky. Sometimes it's those fine margins. You play a safety shot which you get wrong and you can get your opponent in trouble. Difference between winning and losing those kind of things.
One.
He's got a shot at the black.
Well, his facial image there tells this black's not as easy as we think it is. I mean, he's maybe slightly hampered cueing, but it looks reasonably straightforward. It's near enough to the pocket not to make it too difficult, but he obviously feels that it's a bit thinner than it looks. Oh, he's hampered, that's why. Yeah, he's cueing over the top. He can push the white in here. Got to be very careful, and it looks a lot more difficult on that shot, doesn't it? Well played. Unlucky.
So, Junhui, what? One.
I suppose that was the other part of the shot, wasn't it? That he, not that he thought he would knock a red in, but he was going towards the reds over on the right of the table. I don't think for 1 second he imagined the red would be potted, but he knew it was kind of out of control, that cue ball. This has given Mark Davis a bit of a lifeline in the frame.
1. Eight. Nine. Sixteen.
Well, he's just got to keep control of the cue ball. And that was absolutely
7.
fine. Just trying to avoid using cushions. Lead of 30 points with plenty to add, you would feel, from here. Those 3 reds on the right, he won't be worried about those being tied up because he's a few in front and he can win the frame before they come into play.
$23. 24.